Good day and welcome to the Power Up. Family, we're so glad that you're joining us today as we get equipped and educated, elevated, and empowered together so that we can be change agents and make a difference where we are. We're going to start with Inside the News. In the news, the World Health Organization has elevated a study that's been released that many were not surprised of. And that's the increased number of neurological conditions causing death worldwide. Over 1 in 3 people around the world are suffering with neurological conditions. Important because many of us don't think about how we process and what affects our brains until something happens, until there's a tragedy that makes us stop in the face of, pause how we usually process, maybe even thinking it's something wrong with us, and not just understanding it's part of DNA. It's part of being flesh and blood. So the World Health Organization elevates the concern that neurological conditions are now the leading cause of illness, health, and disability worldwide. The leading cause, family, that includes premature births. That includes the strokes and neonatal issues. That includes migraines, dementia, diabetic neuropathy. That includes meningitis, epilepsy. How about autism spectrum disorders and even nervous system cancers? This is important because many of us will focus on a limb that's broken first, or we'll focus on a back pain. We might even focus when we're dealing with aches and pains, but we don't think about the necessity for brain health. We want to encourage you to go to the World Health Organization, WHO.int, the entity that elevated the pandemic and the need to pay attention worldwide to COVID-19. It's now also elevating the need for neurological health. Do you know that overall 80% of the population just in the United States deals with some type of neurological disorder? Sadly, many aren't diagnosed until it's too late. So treatment becomes an issue. But the absolute number of individuals living and dying with neurological conditions, sadly, is increasing. So we need you aware. Diabetic neuropathy is one of the fastest growing neurological conditions. See, many folks take their medications for diabetes and think, oh, I just need to monitor my sugars, and aren't remembering the impact that can have on eyesight, on your feet, and yes, on your brain. Family, the number of people with diabetic neuropathy has more than tripled globally since 1990. Y'all, that wasn't too long ago. So that means it's been rising to 206 million cases since 2021. We've got to really understand that if you need healthcare, if you need assistance, to tap into that in a preventive way. Remember, it's better to create daily habits and advocate for yourself and know what you're working with instead of waiting until you're sitting for hours in the emergency room, hoping to have that treated. A lot of times, doctors will treat a symptom and not the whole person. So every issue you can recall, even if it's writing it down on a list and taking it to your medical professional, will help them understand the whole you. Go to the World Health Organization and get more information on why this is so important, on the studies that have supported and elevated this issue, and most importantly, on what you can do to make a difference where you are, to check on your family members and your health. We also want to take this time and elevate the need for blood donations by the American Red Cross. They continue to have national blood drives because of the shortage that's being experienced. And you can save a life. Yeah. You can go to redcross.org. You can even call 1-800 Red Cross. Redcross.org has all the information you need to know on how to be vetted to make sure that you can be a donor, to make sure that you are sufficient with how you can move forward, what the schedule looks like, how you can prepare for your donation. I have a wonderful friend annually on her birthday. She goes to donate blood. You never know. Do you know that your blood platelets can save up to 7 lives? That's babies, that's seniors. Maybe your mom is being saved because somebody was selfless, stuck their arm out and donated blood. You can do it today. The American Red Cross seeks your help. The American Red Cross is also seeking help with donations. They're asking for monetary help because in moments of heartbreak, your gifts give hope by providing shelter, food, relief supplies, even financial support and assistance to those who are in harm's way. You ever noticed how when fires break out, when houses catch fire, the American Red Cross is one of the first on the scene? They're giving blankets immediately if it's in the cold. They have hot chocolate for you right there. Maybe they're gathering your belongings to help take them to the laundry to wash your clothes. There are things that you can do. Your dollar counts. And yes, it's a tax write-off. Sounds like a win-win to me. Family, go to the American Red Cross, redcross.org, to be educated on what you can do to help. There are many folks who stay home. They're not out adventuring like they used to. And can I tell you that's okay? But you can still make a difference. There's much your thumbs can do. And for those who feel selfless, like you can be a warrior and a champion, consider being a blood donor. Makes a difference. You never know. Car accident could happen with you where you end up in the hospital. And grateful someone took the time to donate to help you in your moment of crisis. Family, we should always remember our brothers and sisters in this one human race, and more so, what we can do to make a difference. We hope this information was helpful to you. Consider what you can do again to elevate your community so that we can all win and stay healthy together. Oh, I'm excited about the guest we have coming up. Family, one of a kind, amazing global impact. Stay tuned. There's so much more after this.
What's up, family? It's your girl, Terry White Hicks, and I am here to invite you to join me every Tuesday, 12 p.m. Eastern Standard Time for Midday Miracles and Manna right here on WEN Network.
Hey everybody, this is Regina Hutt, the wellness practitioner on Empowered Mornings. We'd like to invite you every Wednesday night, 8 p.m., uniquely and gorgeous, to keep your mind locked and loaded on WEN Network.
Welcome back to the Power Up. Oh, we're going into a power mode right now. Family, I am excited to welcome media mogul and visionary coach, Angela Lewis. She is the CEO and one of the executive producers for the We Empower Network. Also an amazing publisher. She has touched so many lives around the globe. And we, during this wonderful time when we elevate how women contribute to all that we do, we wanted to bring the best of the best. We welcome you, Miss Lewis. Thank you so much for joining us and for sharing. We invited you today because the producers wanted to hear something that you are a true leader and champion about, and that's leadership and leading at any level. We received a viewer question that said, Tami, I'm nothing at my agency and I don't feel like I have much of a voice, but I want to grow in leadership. What should I know? So we bought the best to answer the question. Thank you, viewer, for your inquiry. Angela, welcome. What are your thoughts on leadership?
Tammy, first and foremost, let me say thank you for letting me be on the show. I appreciate it. You are always doing amazing things. And so it's an honor and a privilege to be here with you today. Now, let's go into leadership because, I love talking about it. I know you do as well. So let's have us a good conversation. You know what? When I think about leadership, honestly, the first thing I would tell anybody is number one, you have to lead yourself first. Before you start thinking about going to an organization or doing other things, you have to lead you well. And that means that you have to take the time out to think about what are your goals? What are your aspirations? What is it that you want to do? Am I taking time out for myself to make sure that I am healthy mentally as well as physically? Am I spiritually strong? You think about when you lead yourself first, they say you can't pour from an empty cup, right? You can't. But if you take the time to pour and lead yourself, then you're pouring from that overflow. You're being able to get up in the morning. You're not as stressed. You're not as overwhelmed. When you lead yourself first, that means you're taking the time to make sure that you are in alignment with your goals, with whatever it is that you're trying to do for yourself. And as you do that, you're taking a whole person. So you just think about people who are in relationships and they always say, somebody completes you. Well, if you're a complete individual yourself, you don't have to have someone complete you. You just complement the person that you're connected to. And that's whether it's in a relationship, whether it's in business, whether it's with your family, whatever that looks like. When you're healed, healthy, and whole, you're leading yourself to get to those places. Now you show up and you're an asset anywhere you go. You're an asset as you walk through the door because you're confident. And that's number two, lead with confidence. When you feel good about who you are, you can confidently show up, knowing that you're bringing something to the table, knowing that you're adding value, knowing that you have the skill sets, the knowledge, the understanding, the intelligence, the charisma, all those things that make you valuable when you are dealing with someone else in any type of situation. So those two things would be my first to say that it starts with you. When you lead yourself well, when you lead yourself first, when you lead with confidence, now you can step out and start looking at other areas to where you lead. Because at the end of the day, if you're not leading yourself well, it's going to be extremely hard to try and lead someone else.
And the truth is that there's so much that goes on here to
Yeah.
lead us. And we often forget about that part of the journey starts with the journey, accepting where we're going, accepting that we're moving, that shifts happen. And no matter where you are, leadership is possible. I would want to delve a little bit deeper if you don't mind. Yes, you're an executive. Yes, you own multiple businesses. Yes, you mentor and advise other leaders. But you're Angela. Can you tell us what that is like to have to balance going from the mogul that you are, that has to be ready, set, go for so many different shows and live broadcasts, even to being all that you are where you're at peace and happy at home?
You know what, Tammy? I think for me and for a lot of people, leadership is something that you're born with, but it's also something that can be developed. Because again, as you're going through life, you have to take you through life. And growing up, I was the oldest in my household, right? For my brother and sister. So when they thought I was bossy, when they thought I was, just telling them what to do, I was being the leader, Tammy, really. I wasn't, being bossy. I was just making sure I was using my elderly sister wisdom to make sure they were going to be good, right? So I can take that with me because you think for a lot of people, we overthink leadership. I know that there are executives and I know that there are people in high levels and people who are, doing multiple major things. But on a small scale, when you're in your household, sometimes you have to know how to manage that. And you know how to have some foresight into what it's going to take. When you have children, you have to guide them and show them the way on doing things. These are skill sets that we develop as children. Sometimes you see kids, and if you ever look at some of these little TikToks they put out, and it's a group of kids on the stage and they're dancing and they're having fun, and it's one kid in the front that marches to the beat of his own drum. He's just out there doing his thing. He's just out there having a great time. What happens is when you are naturally a leader, people start looking at you to see what you're doing. Then they start saying, okay, I see that he's getting the attention. I see that people are following him and watching him. Maybe I need to fall in line. But what I do realize is that when you talk about leadership, even for myself, in order to be a good leader, I have to be a good follower. I have to recognize the strengths and the strong points in other people and understand that I don't have all the answers. So what I do, Tami, is cultivate and bring in people who are exceptional at what they do. Look at you. You're here and you are exceptional at what you do for the power up. So why would I come in and try to do what you do well? You bring people around you who are operating excellence so that as you all come together, you build a team of people who can go forth and be great and cause other people to be great and shine that light so that it's brighter and brighter and more people get attracted to it. And as they do, they buy into the vision, because that's another part of leadership. You have to have a vision. When they buy into the vision, now it's a centrifugal effect. It's like throwing a rock into a pond and you see it and it goes out further and further and further. So for me, I just have to make sure that I stay consistent. I stay committed. I stay having a servant attitude, because at the end of the day, nobody wants to follow somebody who's a dictator and who demands things from them all the time, or who just only sees things in their point of view. Because at the end of the day, we're all learners. And as you learn, you're understanding that you may not always have the right answer. But if you trust the process and you understand, and I'm a believer, so I trust God. I trust God to give me what I need and understand that whatever he's put inside of me, I want to connect with other people who are going to bring that greatness out, because it says iron sharpens iron. So you get around other people that can help you develop where you are, help you to take what you're doing to the next level, because it's not just an I thing.
Oh, okay. So I want to keep this fire going. When we think about the viewer question, who
Okay.
first, and we're going to end with the fact that you're also an amazing empowerment speaker. And the viewer said that they feel like they're nothing. Okay, so we're going to speak to that before we sign off. But the viewer also submitted the part about how do I lead where I am?
Mm-hmm.
Can you share some characteristics, some leadership traits that folks should consider as they're walking through leadership or into leadership?
You know what, Tami, the thing about it for me, the Bible says, now you're getting get understanding. You have to be open to being teachable, open to being coachable, open to learning new things, open to mastering whatever it is that you're putting your mind to. So a lot of times we want to be leaders, but we don't want to put in the work. And at the end of the day, it is going to require work for you to get from one point to the other. Even going back to being a child, when you learned to ride a bike, you didn't just pedaling and it was all systems go. You fail a little bit. You have to figure out, okay, well, what do I do? If I can't get the pedals moving, so you keep trying. But it means that you have to master whatever it is that you're trying to do. And that requires you putting in some effort, putting in that time, putting in that mindset of this is where I'm going and these are the things I need to do. And then you show up. You show up consistently every single time. They say practice makes perfect. When you're a basketball player and you're trying to get these free throws together, you take some time and you keep shooting and you keep shooting until before you know it, you can shoot and it's like automatic. You're shooting and it's just going in and you're not even really thinking about it. Whereas before, you had to be focused, you had to have concentration, you had to have technique. And if you don't have it, Find you a mentor or someone that you look at, that you admire, that you can sit under and ask questions. Somebody who can help you, someone who can see some of the blind spots. Because if you don't feel like you're worthy, if you don't feel like you're good, getting around someone, a coach or a mentor, they can see things in you that you don't even see in yourself. And then you speak to those things. It's like the affirmations that you say. When you continuously say where you want to go, as your ears hear what comes out of your mouth, it starts resonating in your spirit. And before you know it, I am great at what I do. I am an awesome leader. I am a person who has knowledge and skills. As you start speaking those things, you become more and more in alignment with the direction that you're wanting to go. So I believe that, you just got to be open to learn, open for finding someone who can help you and guide you, because we need help all the time. You can never say that you've arrived. There's always levels of where you want to go. So even if I'm at the top here to somebody else, I'm at the bottom to somebody else. So it's levels, and you want to always stay in a mode of one of my other things was growth mindset. You want to always stay in a growth mindset, so that as you learn, as you continue to move, you continue to receive information. One thing I will say, I had wrote a quote down by John F. Kennedy. He said, leadership and learning are indispensable to each other. You can't be a leader and stop where you at. You have to continuously let your mind expand, because guess what? It's always something new coming up. Look at AI. AI has came on the scene. So now you're either going to start paying attention and figure out how can AI help you, or you're going to be left behind and stuck. There's not too many people I know that's still using the rotary phone. They had to get with the program. So there's not too many people that still uses a cassette deck. They had to start moving forward. So it just requires you to be open and honest with your skill sets. Open your mouth and ask for help where needed, and then continue to pursue the things that you want to pursue, so that you can become the leader that you want to be.
Yes, 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 yes. Ask for help. And I love that, because at your level, to hear you say that, people often see others who are successful and think they've arrived.
Mm-hmm.
And what you just confirmed is there's never an arrival. It's always an opportunity to grow, always more, always thriving. So speaking to this wonderful individual in front of me who has her hands in 10,000 different things, how do you do it all? We get individual. I think tips would really help folks who feel like, I want to write a book. I never thought I could do this, but I want to do this too. And I have the kids and I have the house. And wait a minute, she's producing and she's publishing and she's writing and she's traveling, training, and so with all the things that we could see on your resume that you do, what tips would you have to help someone who's trying to figure out the balance part of it?
You know what, Tammy? I think that today, so I'm one of the hosts on the Empowered Morning Show, and we had Chanel Lee on there today. And I told her that. I said, because a lot of people will say that when you're doing so many things, how is that, should you be doing all of that? Focus on one thing and be great at it. But what she said was, you have to believe that every single gift God gave you, he gave it to you because you can be exceptional at it. He gave it to you so that you can move forward in it, so that you can operate and do what you need to do. So because he's giving you those, now you cultivate those gifts and talents, right? And it expands. What they say, your gifts make room for you. It expands out. So as I'm doing 99 things, because I feel like I'm doing 99 things at one time, and it all needs to get done. But it's a method of taking the time to just breathe through whatever needs to be breathed through. And there's a book that I used to read, the 7 Habits of Highly Effective People. They had quadrants, and talked about, like, sometimes you think this is really important, but it's not really necessary right now. You have to really be able to prioritize what is required for now. What's the real important thing? Yes, I have to get some things out. My deadline is here, but if I can do this right here, right now, and get it done in a timely manner, That is going to save me so much more than if I were to just continue to plug over here. You also have to give yourself breaks, because sometimes your mind will get so caught up that you will start, missing things, right? So you give yourself a little break to kind of regroup. That's why when we were little kids, they used to give us naps, because your mind had to reset. And we didn't like it then, because, for me, I was like, I don't want to take a nap. I want to go, 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 go. But now you have to recognize how important it is to take some time to regroup, to de-stress, to kind of reset. So when you come back with fresh eyes. You come back with a fresh opportunity to tackle something that maybe was having you stuck before. It's just a commitment, Tammy, and you have to again believe that there's nothing that you can't do if you put your mind to it. If God gave you things, then you should believe that, hey, if I'm good at doing this, why should I not pursue it? If I have a skill set and I know that I can do this and it's going to benefit me and help me, why would I not do it? What is keeping me from moving forward? I always say one of my favorite poems is by Marianne Williamson, and it's the Our Deepest Fear. And so in a piece of that, it says that, when you shine, who are you not to shine? Who are you not to be brilliant? Who are you not to be gorgeous? Who are you not to use the skills that you have been given? I don't care how many it is. Just because somebody else can't manage 10 things doesn't mean that you can't. If you're able to do it, then do it. Don't let other people talk you out of what God has given you.
And folks have a way of distracting you from your journey, from your mission. People have a way of getting in your ear and saying, not just the ones who are haters, just the ones who maybe just there meant to try to put a smoke screen up. And you should still be moving one foot at a time. This is so good. Delve, if you will, into some for the executives watching, for those business owners, for those publishers who are responsible for other individuals, right? Those who run businesses, run companies, who have to be able to perform at a high level. What are the key tips that you would say on how to help with maintenance, with self-maintenance, with being able to still live and enjoy the success that you're thriving in?
You know what? One of the biggest things I would say, Tammy, is first and foremost, give yourself grace. You cannot, sometimes you may not be able to make that deadline. Sometimes you may not be able, things aren't working the way that you thought it would. Does that mean that it's a total failure? No, it's an opportunity to reset, look at that challenge and figure out what went wrong, how can I tweak it, and then let me move forward. So giving yourself some grace, setting yourself boundaries, make time for your family, make time for yourself. Because at the end of the day, as you're moving and pushing and trying to, build this empire, you can't take the empire with you when you go. So you want to make sure that you spend time you make the time for the people that you love. Because as much as you think, oh, I want to give you the world and I want to buy you this and take you here and do this, and the other, sometimes it's, and I speak a lot about children. When you think about Christmas and you think about, oh my God, I've got to go out here and buy all these toys and I've got to do this and do that. The little child really just wants to see you. They just want to spend time with you. But out of all those toys that you buy, sometimes all they want is a spoon and a pot, and they want to bang on it, and they have the best time in the world. So if we can kind of go back to childhood and how simple it was, simplify your life. Enjoy the moments. Take time to celebrate your wins, because what you may think that I'm not where I want to be, you're so much further ahead than somebody else looking at you. So celebrate where you are. Be grateful. When you practice gratitude, I'm telling you, the more you are grateful for what you have, the more blessings you get back as you move through life. And then take some time to sow into somebody else. You have to, don't keep it to yourself. A lot of people, will come and ask you questions and they want to know things. You helping somebody else shine does not diminish who you are. So take the time to give back, sow into other people. Have a simple conversation. It's okay. It shouldn't always be the grind. Sometimes having a conversation with somebody and pouring into them is just as valuable as sitting behind their desk in front of their computer, going over all the spreadsheets and all these different things that you constantly pour over, the contracts or whatever it is that you're doing, these major meetings that you have. Sometimes a simple conversation with the people who are connected to you can refuel you, re-inspire you, encourage you, motivate you. It can help you to see things from a different perspective. Sometimes you need to kind of go amongst the people who are actually doing what you're asking them to do and get their perspective, because they can give you some fresh and they right there on the front end. They know. Take the time to invest so that as you get out here, you have more to be happy about. You have more that you can, wake up in the morning and be excited about.
And you hit on too much to write about. So I've got to go back and see the rewind of this show. I appreciate the humility that you reflect. I've witnessed you coach one-on-one, and I've witnessed you empower a whole room. And there's no difference. Your energy is the same, your drive is the same, your heart is the same. Help individuals who might be watching that aren't sure how to start. What is the advice you give on the, I do love, or I used to love, or yeah, you're talking about kids. I remember when, and that was great. What does that have to do with me being a grown? How do I start with the happy factor?
You got to start. As adults, we overthink so much. You want to be perfect. You feel like you have to get this in line. You have to do that. You have to move here. You got to connect there. You think so much about what you have to put in. It's like baking a cake. If you go to the store and buy all the ingredients and you think, okay, well, I got to get this and get that and do this and do that, but you never bake the cake, you don't have, what are you doing? You have to be able to say that I'm just going to start. And then when you start, then you start looking at, okay, how can I make it better? Who do I need to connect with that's going to help me here? Get started. And I know that for a lot of people, you feel like, I just, I don't think I know enough. I don't think set yourself up to learn. There's so many books out here that can give you information on what you're looking for. We have, your cell phone is a computer right there in your hand. Google can tell you so many things. YouTube can tell you so many things. I mean, you have it in your hand. Whatever you want to know, you should be able to go and you can figure it out. It's right there at your fingertips. The thing about it is, most people have the hurdle in their mind before they even get a chance to tackle whatever hurdles in front of them. So if you can break the barrier of saying that whatever I put my mind to, I can do. Now, is that going to say that it's going to happen overnight? Probably not. But it's a process. Take the time, study the craft, look at videos, get things down in your spirit and figure out what does it take. But before it takes anything else, it takes a desire to make it happen. And if you got the desire, then everything else can come, because it's like attraction. What do they say? Attraction marketing. If you put things out there, it comes back to you. It's like a magnet. As you go out and you have the energy and the positivity, what you get back is the same that you put out. So you've got to get up, get moving, get started. And then as you are doing that, start studying in the direction you want to go, talking to people, asking questions. And as you get to moving, it's going to happen for you. But you got to believe that. You have to know without a shadow of a doubt, I'm going to be successful. It may not be next week or next month, but I'm going to be successful.
Yeah, 1,000% believe starts with me. And I love the question to how do you start is to just start,
Just
to
start.
do something. And I appreciate that you mentioned connecting with folks around you that you see doing it. Interesting that you are a mentor to so many, but yet you have mentors. And that's one thing that leaders always say. Every pastor has a pastor. Every executive has a coach, an advisor, a mentor, a therapist, someone they can go to where
Mm-hmm.
the space can be paused so that they can process and figure out the next steps. Certainly you didn't get to where you are overnight. And I can't even imagine what's in front of you the way you're going full steam ahead. Um, I do want to ask though, what's the home life like? Like someone who is so ready to go, what's your support system need? That's the question. What kind of support would a leader at any level need to be successful?
At any level, you have to have transparency and communication with whomever's in your life, whether it's a significant other, whether it is a child, whether it's your best friend since sixth grade, whomever that is. It should be somebody that you can talk to and be vulnerable with and transparent with, and not be afraid that it's going to come back against you. If you got somebody who's a judgment free zone where you can really go and speak about some things, and if you don't have it, there's so many groups out here that are put together for people who have a like mind like you. Find your tribe. Find people who understand what it's like. If you're a mother with 6 kids and all of your kids are in different organizations and doing different activities, and you're about to pull your hair out and trying to figure out how to do different things, get to a group of people who say, well, listen, hey, I just put my son in soccer and I am overwhelmed. How do you do it? Because there's somebody who's been there and done that. And they can let you vent and let you talk and let you, sometimes as you get to talking, Tammy, you give your own self a solution. You give your own self a solution. Sometimes you just need a listening ear to be able to do that. And so I think that if you have people around that you can be vulnerable with and transparent with, if you connect yourself to groups of people that have similar interests to you, all those things can help you when you are, because they say motivation sometimes wears out. Sometimes you can just not be motivated, but you have to be disciplined. And so if you've got accountability people in your corner, you may say, you know what, I said I was going to lose weight. I was going to lose these 10 pounds. And right now I don't feel like, let's go for ice cream. They're going to say no, because what's your goal? You said that you want to do this by this date. And I'm going to make sure that I'm going to hold you accountable because that's what you said. So do you no longer want to do that? Did your goal change? If it did, then let's look at why. Why did it change? Why do you no longer want to do that? Have people around you that can tell you no. Because sometimes we just want people to let us be in our mess. Like, I'm not doing that. I don't want to do that. But you have people in your life to tell you, yes, you are. Because you're too great to not go for what your vision is. Go for what your dreams are. You're too great for that. Have people in your life who put your name in rooms that you've never been in. Who will say, I've got somebody who can do X, Y, and Z. Let me connect you to. Let me make sure y'all meet. I've got the perfect person that can help fulfill your vision. Open your mouth to tell people, because if you keep it, I know that they say you have to keep things to yourself. And I'm not saying tell everything, because I do believe that, sometimes you have to show up, work in silence, and then just pop out on them, right? But there should be somebody that you trust enough to tell your dreams to where they believe it with you. So as you're getting here and you get off course, they're saying, I thought we were running a media mogul. What we need to do to get on track? Well, how can I help you? And then have those people in your life, Tammy, that ask you, I have a friend that asked me, as a matter of fact, today, and I'm going and going and doing and doing. And sometimes, I'm not quick to say, oh, I'm fine. How are you? I'm good. And she said, let's run that back. How's your heart? It's a whole different level. To have someone who can ask you, how's your heart? You can't be surface with that. That's somebody who genuinely cares about who you are and how you're showing up. And when you have that in your life, you can be unstoppable. But you got to choose well. Now, you can't just be bringing in and everybody in your circle. You gotta choose well.
But your tribe. I love that you said that. Come on, man, your tribe matters. We often, I love speaking to folks who have global minds, who are out of the box. There's no more box. In fact, I remember a conversation that you and I had a while back where you said, Tammy, I'm thinking about doing this. And I said, okay. And I said, but somebody's doing that. Are you, looking to mentor with them? And your statement to me was, I'm not going to their table. I'm creating my own table. I'm going to learn from them. I'm going to find out how they do it. I'm going to make sure that I don't have to do the same pitfalls. But this here is going to look a little different because I'm doing what's inside of me. And with that conversation, so much was birthed in me that you never knew about. But you'd be surprised how much synergy happens when you connect with people, like you say, like-minded. So let's talk about it. For those who may have been burned by women, come on now. Let's listen.
Look,
I
put
am
it out
one.
there. We all have at some point in time.
I am one. I
Mm-hmm.
have lived it. Friend. Okay. So for those who have been burned by others, um, who may not really know or fear, who may have a real fear about being connected, about understanding how to connect. What tips do you have with how? Like where should they start? I love that you use the soccer mom approach because our kids are together.
Mm-hmm.
There's one that you've actually created, the We Empower Nation, where
Mm-hmm.
people who are just looking to be empowered and they step into this Facebook group, and there's a constant 24/7 motivation and positive energy there. But yet there's 10 trillion other Facebook groups too. So what are your thoughts for people who are just trying to figure out, like, where's the water I should tap into?
You know what? You got to get clear on what you need. And sometimes that means you got to spend some time alone. See, a lot of times people be ripping and running, trying to connect and do things, and you never spend time with you. So you hop into the coffee club when you really don't like coffee. You start getting into these different things that you really don't have an interest for. And you have to know who you are internally. My daughter sent me something the other day. And the funny thing about it is, Tammy, because people who know me know I'm all over the place and I'm always happy and I'm always energetic and I'm always pumping people up and, encouraging them and all of that, right? But I am an introvert. I just have extrovert tendencies. I love being at home. If I never had to leave, the pandemic was great for me. I was okay with staying home. Most people, go stir crazy, but you've got to know who you are in order to know what's going to work for you. If you are a person who loves to network, then start going places and start looking at things when people invite you, go. But if that's not you, maybe you like more intimate settings. You just have to figure out what it is that you truly want. What makes you tick? What makes you happy? What makes you smile? What turns you on? Are you into music? What is it that you can tap in and specifically say, you know what, when I do this, it is amazing and I feel great. I went to an event, we did a networking event this past weekend, and it was karaoke. Now I'm singing all the time. My husband laughs all the time because I'm like, "Ooh, that's my song." Ooh, he's like, "I know. Every song is your song," and it is. But I was thinking, like, I'm not gonna be doing karaoke, but I had the best time. Sometimes you have to just step out and see. Step out. It's not gonna hurt you. Step out and see. Maybe you don't realize it, but maybe salsa dancing is in your spirit. Step out and try new things so that you can figure out what it is that makes you do well, that makes you thrive. Maybe you're creative and you are doing so many things. Maybe you need to go and take a pottery class so that you can put your hand and you can massage the clay and do some things because it's therapeutic and it helps your brains to start, working through thoughts. Step out and start figuring out some other things that you can do because you never know what works for you if you never try anything. You got to be open. I'm telling you, a lot of times we stuck in ruts because we don't want to do anything. We don't want to try different things, try new foods, try things because life is too big for you to do the same thing all the time, for you to stay in the same place all the time, for you to be with the same people all the time. It's okay to kind of expand a little bit. I ain't saying go out here, honey, and friend all the people in the world, but branch out a little bit. Start small and then work your way up.
But try. Get out there and do something. Family, that's why the producers of the Power Up said we got to have the woman respond to this. Miss Lewis, we are so grateful that you honored and graced our platform today. You certainly, family, you saw the powerhouse in her. And you can get all this in pages of the many books she's written in different publications, magazines, of all of the different opportunities afforded to you. But okay, let's let folks know first.
Okay.
How can they reach you? And what new do you have going on?
Whew. To reach me, I am Angela Lewis on
That is it. Pardon the technical difficulties, family. Are you back? Okay, we can't hear you. You might have to go out and come back in. But I know her information, so let me share. Angela, we thank you for joining us. Sometimes it happens like that, family. Listen, one thing we're not going to do is stop. And she gave us content and information to be empowered and to get up and decide that we're going to change the world and then start moving in how we're going to do it. I am Angela Lewis, is how you can identify her, locate her. She is on all social media platforms. You can go on Amazon, Google her name, and see all the different books that she's part of. She is a publisher, her own publishing company. If you've ever thought about being an author, reach out to her directly. I believe she's seeking wives right now to help partner with an anthology she's creating. Input from wives, elevating the wonderfulness of marriage. Family, when you have amazing people around you, it just helps elevate the amazingness in you. It doesn't replace it, it doesn't erase it. Her wonderfulness is her journey. I'm just glad to be connected. But can I tell you how much I'm enjoying being this wonderful Tami too? So, family, we hope this entire segment of responding to our viewer inquiry may have been helpful and inspiring. I want to leave this thought that it's important to know that no matter what your journey is, no matter what your story is, it's oh so important. And we can't wait to read it, hear it, and see it as you move through this thing called life. Okay, we're going into our wrap up. Wow. Hang tight, family. There's more after this.
What's up, family? It's the girl Terry Y. Hicks, 1/5 of the amazing queens of empowerment from the Empowered Morning Show, and I am here to personally invite you to join us for the premiere of our brand new show, Queens of Behavior. That's right, we have a brand new show coming out, and before the world gets to see it, we want you to see it. So join us April 27th at 8 p.m. in Douglasville, Georgia at Studio T on Chapel Hill Road for the premiere of Queens of Behavior. It's a red carpet event, so make sure you dress for the occasion. We can't wait to see you there.
Welcome back to the Power Up family. What a phenomenal segment. We started out with information truly important to everyone around the planet. The World Health Organization elevated how neurological diseases are the new issue causing most deaths around the world. Everything from dementia and strokes to cancers to prenatal care, how all of this is impacting so many of us globally in different countries, primarily due to the availability of healthcare. Make sure that you prioritize your brain health. Make sure that you seek regular physicals that also include not just your sugar, your blood work, but also your neurological health. As we age, our brains change. The organ, the computer that makes everything else function changes. So we want to do what we can to limit dementia, to limit those diseases that can cause brain injuries and help us to live better. We also want to make sure that we're clear on how we can help our children to fight against meningitis, birth defects, and then how we can prevent strokes and help all of those in our community know what the symptoms are, the triggers are, what the prevention mechanisms are. Go to the World Health Organization, WHO.int, to get more information. You matter. But you also have to be the big advocate for your health. Consider making sure that anytime you feel something, you write it down. And every time you go to that doctor's appointment, you take that list with you so that they're looking at a holistic you versus just the symptom of what you're feeling. How often do you walk in coughing and they just immediately take the test for the flu or for COVID, for the flu, or for RSV to remove those as symptoms? And then they say, oh, well, this is what it is, because they're looking at what's causing you in the moment to feel the way you're feeling. Well, that's not necessarily an entire holistic review. However, neurological health is just as important. So take time to go to WHO.int and be educated and equipped so that you can spread the information where you are. Also, the American Red Cross is both seeking blood donations and monetary donations, reminding us that they are the ones that show up in emergencies, in moments of heartbreak, and they need assistance monetarily to be able to provide shelter to those who might deal with devastation and losing their home, their residence. You don't want to be the one, but if ever an emergency happens, a tornado comes through, things that you can't control, you want someone that can help you right away. The American Red Cross cannot just provide food and immediate emergency supplies to you, but financial support to aid what you might need in those moments and other assistance. Again, it's also tax deductible. Consider going to redcross.org. Schedule your appointment on how you can help save a life with the donation of your blood platelets and how you can just make a donation with cash and be a champion to the world, to the United States, to your neighbors, to those that might even be in your family. As the blood is pulled from blood banks, they look to make sure it's a match. You don't know who you're helping. But isn't it just important that there's help available? American Red Cross, redcross.org or 1-800-RED-CROSS. Then we were all so impacted by the phenomenal Angela Lewis, who goes by ALOVE, and the founder of the We Empower Network, of the I Shine magazine, publishing company, of so many different platforms that she does to promote others, not necessarily to be seen as who she is. She is someone who has mastered the background so much that people seek her advice on how to pull her and her wisdom to help elevate their dreams. Family, some of the greatness she reminded us of is it's important to connect, be connected. Find your tribe, is what she said. And it might be people you don't know, whether social media has tribes and networks. Oh, yeah, those Facebook groups were very helpful to me when I started my thyroid journey because these were people who had lived through it. So just hearing their stories and medications and what it was like to anticipate after the surgery, what could help me because it helped others made the difference. Whatever you're facing, connect with your tribe today. Maybe you just need other women to help pour into you. Maybe connecting with other married couples. Come on, family. Parents, single moms, there are tribes. Single dads, there are tribes. Whatever can help you along your journey. Thank you, Angela, for reminding us of also always being a student, how important it is to always grow. That no matter where you are now, honey, it's not about putting a tent up and taking up residency right there. The sky is the limit. She reminded us that there's so much more inside of us, in our dreams and our goals in life, that we should be focused on accomplishing. But knowledge is always power. So continue to learn, continue to grow, figure out terminologies and trends that are happening. If it's something important to you, you can become an amazing resource just by tapping into where the knowledge can be found. She also reminded us of balance and self care. You can be a millionaire, trillionaire, billionaire, but if your health isn't allowing you to enjoy the ride, then there's issues at home in you with you being fulfilled, right? It's not just about traveling the world. That's an amazing dream that can happen. But you want to enjoy the traveling. You want to be in your best self every step of the way. You matter too. To every leader, every executive, every leader in your home, mom, everyone in your community. Maybe you're leading a civic association, that Bible study at church. Maybe you're a teacher. Huh? We need leaders of every level. So whatever is in you to do, there's no limits, no excuses, no more distractions. Angela, in fact, said, come on and rise up and show up and be the best you possible. We're so grateful that she came on our platform today to do what I know personally she does all day, every day. And she reminded us of how important it is to be transparent in it all. Listen, when you need a break, you need a break. Those of us that pour into others, you got to have something to pour. So you need the opportunity to refresh, to renew, to replenish. You need the opportunity to take that break, that vacation, that pause, and make sure that you're your best so you can continue to do what you thrive doing. I'm someone that I can turn it on when I have a mic. It's a gift because I study behind the scenes to stay ready. See, it's not that when the mic comes on, I'm fumbling, bubbling. Preparation is everything. So in my downtime, reading and growing and listening to those podcasts and the YouTube University, YouTube videos that Angela mentioned, always staying in relevancy where you realize that there's folks doing it and better than me. So how about I continue to learn so that I can grow? So that when folks show up and start asking questions, I'm a resource. I can pour into them. And at most, when I don't have the information, stay real because it's not about me. But make a recommendation. You know, I heard someone mention this. Have you considered checking out referrals are just as helpful? We, as always, on the Power Up, thank those who serve our country selflessly, our veterans, those who have gone before and trailblazers, our active duty military, thank you for your service. Those who put themselves in harm's way on a daily basis, our law enforcement firefighters, those who do things behind the scenes like 911 responders, we thank you. To our teachers, our medical professionals, to those advocates who champion the cause for those who have no voice, we thank you. The Power Up is meant to equip, educate, empower, and elevate you. And we hope today's segment and show has done just that. Let me tell you, I feel good. And I learned a few things today myself. So we hope you're powered up to make a difference where you are. We'll see you next time.